Okay. Hi, Mr. Shields. It's me, Emily. So, the stories that I chose to do are Eden and the Golden Apples and Mjolnir's Theft. So, I'm going to start out with doing Eden and the Golden Apples. So, to be in this story, it is Odin and Loki. They are leaving Asgard. They want to go to Midgard, which is the land of men. And they're traveling through the mountains, they're tired, they're cold, it's getting late, and so they're like, we need to get some food. And they see these cows. They're like, we're gonna kill one of those cows and we're gonna eat it. We're gonna make steaks. So they kill the cow and they make a fire and they put the steak on like a grillish thing to cook the meat. And they're like, something's wrong. Like, it's weird that this meat won't cook. Like, they waited a long time and the meat's not cooking. So, Odin's like, something's up. Loki, something's up. And Loki's like, I know something's up. And they see a reflection, like, in the fire, and it's of a bird. And then they look up and they see this eagle perched on this branch. And Odin's like, that's not an eagle. And of course it wasn't. The eagle starts laughing and like flies down and is like, your meat's not going to cook unless you give me whatever I want, Odin. And Odin's like, okay, whatever, I'm hungry. What do you want? Like, just let my meat cook because I'm starving. They were starving. And so the meat starts to cook. And when it finally is done, they each, Loki and Odin, take their piece. They're ready to eat it. Eagle flies down and like starts eating their steaks, like taking pieces of their steaks. And they're mad. They're pissed off. Loki's like, what the heck, bro? Like, my meat needs to cook. And like, what's your deal? Like, why are you being like that? And he starts to get mad. And he picks up this log and throws it at him. And when he did that, he realized like he couldn't let go of the log. His hands wouldn't come off. And so he got thrown with the log, and the eagle comes and like picks up the log and starts flying. And Loki is getting beat up. Okay? He's hitting trees and rocks and like just hitting the ground, and like it's a mess. He is like, just please put me down. Okay? He can't get off. It's a problem. So the eagle finally puts him down and is like, the only way that like I'm gonna let you go is if you promise to give me Eden's golden apples. And Loki's thinking to himself, that's a bad idea for me to go steal those apples. Oh, by the way, this is my prop for a golden apple. Yeah, this is the prop. Here's a golden apple. So he's like, how am I going to get out of this situation? Like, the only thing I can do is agree to give him these apples. So he says yes, and he goes back to the fire with Odin, and like they go to sleep, and in the morning they head back to Asgard. And these golden apples are very special because it's what gives the gods like youth and eternal life. Like, a god can't be a god without that, obviously. So he's like, the only way that I'm going to get these apples is if I become friends with Eden. And so he starts chatting her up, they're hanging out, they're having a good time. And he's like, Eden, know what? I've had better apples than your golden apples. And Eden's like, no, you haven't. And Loki's like, yes, I have. I'll prove it to you. Come follow me through the gate, bring your golden apples, and I'll show you better ones. She's like, okay, bet. Like, let's go. So he follows her out the gate, and as soon as they do that, the eagle flies down and grabs her and takes her off with the golden apples to his castle. And Loki's like, shoot, it's done. Like, she's gone. And for the longest time, the gods did not notice that she was gone until they started like showing signs of aging, like getting gray hair or like wrinkles on their face or like spots on their hands. And they're like, what the heck? Where did Eden go? Like, she has the apples. We need those. And they have a meeting and they end up finding out Loki's to blame. Of course he is. And they're all like, you need to go get that Loki or like we're going to kill you because it's your fault. And so Loki turns into a falcon and flies down to Thaz's castle and sees for Eden, not Freya, Eden, and turns her into an acorn and then picks her up with his feet and flies back. And like a little while after, Thaz notices and like, what the heck? Where did you go, Eden? Like, I need you. And he's like, she escaped. So he starts flying towards Asgard. And like, an eagle is much faster than a falcon. So Loki's freaking out. He's like, I need to hurry. Like, this freaking eagle is on my butt. I gotta get to Asgard where I'm safe. And like, the eagle the whole time is just on his tail, like so close to getting him. And Loki sees the gate of Asgard, flies over it, and as soon as he does, like, flames go up, and the eagle runs in the flames and catches on fire and dies. And then the apples are saved and they all have eternal youth again. And that's the story of Eden and the Golden Apples. Pretty easy. Pretty cool. Turning the page because it has names to help me remember. I wrote them down. Okay, next one is Mjolnir's theft. Now, Mjolnir is Thor's hammer. This is what I have. It's my dad's hammer. And it's similar, kind of, to Thor's. So, yes. Now, Thor and Mjolnir are inseparable. Like, he always has his hammer with him constantly. And so Thor wakes up one morning and he's like, I don't have a good feeling. Where's my hammer? And he's looking everywhere for his hammer, and he cannot find it. So he's like, somebody took it. I know somebody did. Somebody took it. And he goes straight to Loki because Loki's the one who always does like weird and bad stuff. So he's like interrogating Loki, and he's like, what the heck? What did you do with my hammer? And Loki's like, I didn't do anything, dude. Like, I didn't do anything. I didn't touch it. But I think I know who did. And his name's Thrym, I think. And he is a giant. And he's like, okay, Thor, I'll go down. I'll talk to Thrym and see if he has it. And so Loki's like, okay, how am I going to get there? I'm going to go talk to Freya and see if I can ride her falcon. And Freya says yes. So Loki gets on the falcon and he flies down to where Thrym lives. And he's like, knock. Well, yeah, knock on the door. That's not a good knocking down, but it's fine. He's like, dude, did you take Thor's hammer? And he's like, no, bro, I didn't. Sorry, Loki, I didn't take his hammer. And Loki's like, I know you took his hammer. And he's like, okay, fine, I took it. Like, you got me, but I'm not going to give it back. And Loki's like, why are you going to give it back, dude? That's rude. And he's like, because the only way that I'm going to give it back to you is if you promise that I can marry Freya. And Loki's like, oh, shoot. Okay, I'll go talk to the gods and I'll let you know what they say. And so Loki leaves without the hammer and goes and talks to the gods. And of course, Freya's like, heck no, I don't want to marry that guy. I don't want to marry anybody. Like, no. And the other gods are like, what are we going to do about this? She said no. And so Loki, Thor, and Heimdall come up. Heimdall's the watchman of like the gate and stuff. And he's like, guys, I have a plan. We're going to tell the giant that Freya said yes, but instead on their wedding day, it's not going to be Freya who's in the wedding dress. It's going to be Thor. Thor, you're going to disguise as Freya. And then you can get your hammer back. And they're all like, that's a fantastic plan. Good job, mate. Like, you are on top of your shit. And so on their wedding day, they get there and everybody's there, other giants, other gods, and blah, blah, blah. And Thor has like a veil on and a dress, and you cannot tell that it's him. He looks just like Freya, but he's not talking. He's not saying anything. And it comes dinner time, and he just starts munching. He's eating all the food on the table, and the giant is like, what the heck? That's so weird. Like, she's a girl and she's eating this much? That's crazy. And Loki's like, oh no, like, she just didn't eat for a week. That's why she's eating so much. And the giant buys it. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Got it. And, later on, when it comes time that it's like the bridal fee, so like the bride's family pays the husband for like marrying them or whatever, but instead the giant Thrym is paying the gods back with his hammer. And so he's like, okay, like, awesome, thank you for letting me marry Freya. Here's your hammer back. That's the deal. So he grabs it, places it into Freya's lap, which is actually Thor. And as soon as this happens, Thor like picks up the hammer and it's like, wow, and like hits Thrym on the head, kills him, kills all the other giants in the room. And he's like, heck yeah, I got my hammer back. This is awesome. I'm back to normal. And that's the story of how he got his hammer back, Mjolnir's theft. So there you go, Mr. Shields. I know this video went on for a long time, but there's no way that I could condense this down into 2 minutes. So I hope that you liked my storytelling, and peace out, dude.